Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Utah Valley University graduating class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, the staff of Utah Valley University. Ladies and gentlemen, the faculty of Utah Valley University. Ladies and gentlemen, the honored platform guests of the 2019 Utah Valley University Commencement.
Ladies and gentlemen, I declare these proceedings of the 78th Commencement of Utah Valley University to be in session. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors by the UVU ROTC Color Guard and the National Anthem, performed by Holly Mickelson, who is graduating tonight with a Bachelor of Music in Performance.
Colors. Halt. Present. Pumps.
Twilight
Colors. College turn. March.
Thank you, and please be seated. Isn't this an amazing evening? Good evening to all of you, and welcome to this celebration. And woo! And congratulations to the class of 2019. I only wish I had my green pom-poms this evening. We appreciate all who are present and also welcome those who have joined us via live streaming. It is a pleasure to have you with us. It is with gratitude that we acknowledge our distinguished guests seated on the platform here with me. Please stand as you are announced. a truly remarkable place. Let's take a moment to look back at what it means to be a Wolverine. I hope that makes you go, wow, what an awesome place this is. College is certainly a memorable period of growth and discovery, academically, personally, and socially, as we forge enduring friendships. UVU is a wonderfully open and supportive environment where life transformations take place, including my own. It is now my pleasure to introduce with an emphasis in recreation management and a minor in Spanish. His leadership goal was to rally the community around UVU and to create pride on our campus. He has accomplished all that. Mark currently serves as the co-chair of the Youth Planning Committee for the 68th Annual United Nations Civil Society Conference coming to Salt Lake City in August. He also implemented the Proud Wolverines program for students during his tenure. The result is higher event attendance, a greener campus, and more Wolverine flags and signs in the community. Please welcome our student body president, Mark Reynolds.
I'd like to welcome all faculty, staff, administration, families, friends, and fellow Wolverines to UVU's 2019 commencement ceremonies. After the countless tears shed, frequent parking spot frustrations, more bags of free popcorn than any human should reasonably consume, and conquering all or most of our 11:59 p.m. deadlines, we, the graduating class of 2019, have made it. To say the phrase, "it takes a village," would be an understatement here at UVU. Many of you have a long list of people that have truly dedicated time to ensure you were able to receive your diploma. So please think of your village of Wolverines and make sure to thank them when you get a chance. I would be remiss if I didn't use a portion of my time to thank those who have supported me. Thank you to my professors, Scott, Betsy, Garth, and Mike, for facilitating an educational environment that promoted discovery and growth. Thank you to a long list of administrators, board members, and trustees I've worked with over the past year for truly leading and championing this institution, always with students as your focus. Thank you to my UVUSA family for showing me how to be a proud Wolverine and embodying the Walt Disney quote that states, "You can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality." Thank you to my classmates and the students who have inspired me day after day to serve you with all my heart. Thank you to my family and friends who have always been supportive of me. Finally, thank you to my beautiful, charming, and very pregnant wife, Jensen. She said if I cried, I could blame it on pregnancy, so that's what I'm doing. Thank you for believing in me and seeing a potential that I was ignorant of. I would not be standing here today if it weren't for you. I love you and our future Wolverine. As I look out into the audience today, I see many of you who would be much more qualified to address this impressive crowd. This opportunity is equally humbling as it is an honor. So I hope to at least share a few words that might provide some encouragement as we all embark onto the next chapter of our lives. I remember looking through my clothes on St. Patrick's Day this last March, laughing to myself and saying, which of all of these green shirts am I going to wear? I'm sure a lot of you could relate. There was a time, however, in my life where the color green could not be found in my closet for St. Patty's Day, and I would simply have to settle for a Crayola marker and a scribbled 4-leaf clover on my hand. Throughout the years, green has become my favorite color, not because it's my first line of defense against getting pinched in March, but because of what it symbolizes. This speech isn't a plug to rush out to the bookstore to buy the latest UVU swag, although that isn't a bad idea, but an attempt to help all of you in attendance think about a few reasons why you might consider yourselves to be proud Wolverines. First, think about what happens when winter leaves and the snows thaw. But since we're in Utah, once we get through our third winter, two of the first things we see are green grass and budding leaves. These images are all symbolic of growth. The concept of growth should be very familiar to us at UVU. This institution has continued to increase in size ever since it was known as the Central Utah Vocational School in 1941. It's important to note that this growth is occurring during a period of time where most of our counterparts throughout the state and nation are seeing decreasing numbers of students. Even this last year, our enrollment went up by 7.1%, adding 2,600 more students than we had in fall semester. While growth is a good indicator for business, higher education, and individuals alike, it's not always easy to achieve. Marianne Williamson addresses a common concern about the subject in her poem titled, Our Deepest Fear. It states, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. I've observed in my own life, as well as in the lives of my friends and colleagues, that the most common culprit to impeding growth of an individual is oneself. Imagine what we can accomplish if we stop holding ourselves back from realizing the growth that we are capable of. This leads me into my next point. We've inevitably heard or even spoken the phrase, I just go to UVU. When having those awful scripted get-to-know-you conversations that we all go through, whether we like it or not, at an early point in our education, we might have even jumped to a conclusion and felt like the beloved Kermit the Frog when he said, it's not easy being green. Throughout his song, he mentions how it'd be much better, quote, being red or yellow or gold, and how people tend to pass you over because you're not standing out like flashy sparkles on the water or stars in the sky. Eventually, things begin to click, and Kermit soon realizes that green is exactly what he wants to be. For many of us here today, UVU could have been our first, second, third, or even our only choice for a college degree. It is time that Utah Valley University, the students, faculty, staff, administration, and soon-to-be alumni in the room today unapologetically embrace who we are and what we represent as Wolverines. It is easy being green, and it is something to be proud of. Another symbol that most of you are familiar with can be often overlooked by road rage, texting and driving, or my favorite, carpool karaoke. I want to invite all the graduates today to imagine something with me for a second. Over the past few years, as Wolverines of Utah Valley University, we have all been stuck at a traffic light. But starting today, this light has finally turned green. It is our turn to push the pedal to the metal and go. But let me make something clear. When I say go, I'm not implying that as we drive through the avenues of life, that things will be easy. Inevitably, there will be speed bumps, more red lights, and the occasional fender bender along the way. Henry Ford said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." We should look forward to the future with excitement, even for the obstacles waiting for us, because we're Wolverines, and that's what we do. One of my hopes was to get to know the students of Utah Valley University throughout my time serving as student body president. I've heard your stories of triumph, challenge, and defeat. I have been your advocate in far too many meetings than any human should have to reasonably endure. I've reflected on all the sleepless nights, the tears shed, countless surveys, driving the swag wagon, handing out free food, and the brainstorming that my team was constantly involved in. All that and much more was for you, and I would do it again if I had the chance. This year, I'm proud to say that I have come to know the students of Utah Valley University. Our students are green. Our students are proud Wolverines. Let us believe in ourselves, be unapologetically us, and embrace the motto that green means go, because there's no stopping a Wolverine. Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiring words, Mark, and for being as green as it gets. It's been a pleasure to work with you throughout the academic year. I still remember when I started and seeing on Twitter this welcome from UVUSA, and there was Mark Reynolds and his team. I appreciated that warm welcome so much, and I appreciate your support and leadership. It is now my pleasure to introduce a few more exemplary students here at UVU. Utah Valley University's 2019 Valedictorians are seated on the front row. Please rise. These students have distinguished themselves through exceptional academic achievement and were selected to represent the university's colleges and schools, which may name a valedictorian at the baccalaureate or associate degree level, or both. You will find more information about these extraordinary individuals in your programs. Please join me in another round of applause for these very impressive Wolverines. You may sit down. They've just put an element in the program that completely surprises me right now. It will now be our pleasure to hear the UVU Wind Symphony perform Tuminez Fanfare, composed by our band director, Thomas Keck. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Keck, and our symphony. I must say that one of the very first concerts I went to here at UVU was a concert honoring women composers and arrangers. And it was at that concert that I first heard this piece. Thank you so much. It is now my pleasure to invite Elaine Dalton, Chair of the University's Board of Trustees, to confer our honorary degrees. Chairman Dalton.
Thank you, President Tuminez, and congratulations, graduates. What a wonderful day this is for you. Now, each year, on this special occasion, Utah Valley University confers honorary doctoral degrees upon men and women whose service to society is of such high order and significance as to warrant this acknowledgement. It is the highest honor bestowed by this university. On behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, we will introduce the individuals who have earned this prestigious recognition. Trustee Karen Acerson will introduce our first candidate. Trustee Acerson.
Good evening. May I add my congratulations to our graduates. It's wonderful to share this occasion with you. Our first candidate to receive an honorary degree this evening is an exceptional individual who's notable for many reasons, but here at UVU, he's especially beloved as the former dean of the School of the Arts, K. Newell Daly.
When I was a freshman in college, I had a dream of exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be first trumpet in a major orchestra, so everything I did was disciplined. I practiced hard every day. It was that discipline that went into everything else I did after graduation and led me into the work I did, teaching, performing, composing, being an administrator because I wanted things to be better, wanted to help my colleagues do what they wanted to do. All of those things worked, but they went right back to a core, and that core was discipline and a dream.
Oh, there are so many things that set Newell Daly apart in so many ways. First of all, I think first and foremost is his compassion, he's very much a people person. Also, along with that, he is a true leader. He exemplifies the very best in leadership.
I really admire the way that he came out of retirement and was not a caretaker. I admire how he gave himself really totally to this new responsibility. And I think that really is best illustrated by the way he handled what became the Nordis Center for the Performing Arts. Many people have talked about what do we do about this problem that we have students practicing in hallways and in sort of makeshift rooms right next to the heavy equipment of the Sparks Automotive and GT buildings. But he came up with the solution, on a day when others were not even working. He went over and with a measuring tape measured out each of the major venues on that landscape where the building now stands, and then gave those drawings to a friend who did an illustration of what that building might look like. And then he presented that to President Holland, and the two of them caught the vision of it.
There are things in life that are precious, and they're the human element. We need something to take care of our spiritual needs, our emotional needs, our yearning for something deeper and more meaningful in life. That's the arts. And if we don't support the arts, if we don't have the arts available in our schools, we'll die as a society.
Newell already has a handful of degrees, but this is given from the heart. He worked for this his entire life without knowing it. He gave, and he gave, and he gave. Now it's our chance to give back.
I owe so much to my wife. She has sacrificed over and over and over so that I could accomplish what needed to be accomplished in the positions I've held. And she's been absolutely precious. She is the source of my success. As you graduate today, remember, nothing is going to come easy. Everything is going to be difficult. And know that if there's opposition, you're going in the right direction. Work hard. Give it all you've got. If you fail, fail wonderfully.
Will Dr. Newell K. Daly please rise? President Tuminez and Stephen M. Pullen, Dean of the UVU School of the Arts, come to the podium. In consideration of your extraordinary dedication to educating thousands of students, and in recognition of your passionate work to elevate all humanity through the arts, and your inspiring and renowned contributions as a musician and composer, and whereas your visionary efforts inspired a lasting and awe-inspiring home for the performing arts at Utah Valley University, with the approval of its Board of Trustees, presents K. Newell Daly with the Honorary Doctorate of Fine Arts and Humanities on this second day of May, 2019.
Congratulations, Dr. Daly. You have changed this university, and it has been for the better. Thank you so, so much. I think he needs more. It will now be my pleasure to introduce Trustee James Clark, and he will introduce our second candidate for an honorary degree. Trustee Clark.
Good evening, Wolverines. It's a tremendous accomplishment to have reached this milestone. And there are so many in our midst and in our community who are proud of you tonight. We are about to award an honorary degree to one of those highly supportive and exemplary individuals, Jeanette Bennett, founder and editor-in-chief of Bennett Communications.
I love what I do because I tell stories. I get people to tell me their story, and then I figure out the best way to share it. And for 19 years, we've been doing it in a glossy form on our magazine pages. We started with Utah Valley Magazine in 2000, and then our next publication was Utah Valley Bride. And then after that, we started Business Q magazine. We tell the stories of the local entrepreneurs and businesses that are up and coming. We do a lot of custom publishing for home builders associations, network marketing companies, universities, and construction companies. And then as Facebook developed and Instagram and texting and the technology has changed so much in the 2 decades we've been doing this, we've started to tell stories on those platforms as well.
On my iPhone contacts, when I look under Jeanette Bennett, my wife, I have a little symbol of a bumblebee, and that's who she is. She is someone who just is always out and about, giving 100%. It doesn't matter whether it's here at work, it doesn't matter whether it's in the community, it's always 100%, it's always calculated, and it's always about making progress with her.
To spread goodness, I think that's a big motivation of hers. I think to elevate women's voices, I think she is such a unique voice in that she is a mother and a businesswoman and a leader and a woman of faith, and she has all of these facets to her, and she's able to reach a lot of people because of that.
We all have stories, and we connect with each other when we hear each other's stories. Once you know someone's story, you can't help but love them and want to know more about them and understand them. I think at our very core, we are our stories. And so when we share them, and when I help people share their stories, I think it has connected our community.
I think Jeanette is beautiful on the inside as well as the outside. I think that's why she exuberates such sunshine when she walks into a room. People can see that she's genuine. They know that she really cares about them. She's very personable, she's very approachable, and that makes a lot of difference. You know, when you feel that with someone, you feel that instant connection, which I think everyone feels with Jeanette when they first meet her.
I have been changed by Jeanette Bennett. She has changed the course of my life. Not only obviously with my career, but just in every other way. And she's really been a mentor, she's been a friend, and I just feel beyond lucky and blessed to be able to work with her every day.
She deserves this honorary degree because she's a genuine person. She honestly cares about others. She listens to others with the intent to understand, not with the intent to respond. And all she really wants to do is shine a light on people who are doing good things. And so I think it's a good thing she's getting this moment in the spotlight herself.
I want the class of 2019 to know that the future is as bright as your work ethic and as your optimism. You may not know what the future holds, but if you're open to it, if you're excited for it, and if you're willing to take a step and then the next step, and don't let fear stop you, but just keep moving even if you don't know what 10 steps ahead looks like, you will be surprised at the experiences that you'll have, the lessons you'll learn, the people you'll meet, the places you'll go. You're off for a great adventure.
Will Jeanette Bennett please rise? And will President Tuminez and Dr. Norman S. Wright, Dean of the College of Business, please escort her to the podium? Now, in consideration of your exemplary use of your talents to lift and to educate others, so many of us here in this community and abroad, while creating a strong sense of community through your business endeavors, and whereas you have given freely of your time and resources to elevate this state through service, and in recognition of your efforts as an advocate for the advancement of women, presenting information to the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, Utah Valley University, with the approval of its Board of Trustees, presents Jeanette Bennett with the Honorary Doctorate of Business on this second day of May 2019.
Congratulations, Jeanette. You deserve this award. Now, our final honorary degree recipient is not one, but 5 remarkable individuals. They are also providing our keynote address today. We are pleased to present the 5 Browns as recipients of doctoral degrees from Utah Valley University. Will Desiree, Deandra, Gregory, Melody, and Ryan please rise? And will President Tuminez, Trustees Jack Sunderledge, Rick Nielsen, Duff Thompson, Paul Thompson, and Dean Stephen M. Pullen of the School of the Arts also please rise to escort them to the podium. In consideration of your extraordinary discipline and dedication to utilizing your talents by providing uplifting and inspiring musics to millions through live performances, recordings, and televised performances, and whereas you have been proponents of education and have advanced your own knowledge through instruction from such prestigious institutions as the Juilliard School of Music in New York City, and whereas you have found the energy and time and resources to advocate for the rights of victims of abuse and provide a message of comfort, empathy, and strength to those who have suffered greatly, standing confidently before lawmakers and key stakeholders, Utah Valley University, with the approval of its Board of Trustees, presents the 5 Browns with the Honorary Doctoral Degree of Fine Arts and Humanities on this, the 2nd day of May, 2019.
That was a first for me to hood, recipients of honorary degrees. And thank you to all of my trustees and colleagues and all of the recipients. What a wonderful moment. Congratulations again to all of our honorary degree recipients. Thank you for being such an inspiration and such amazing role models for the class of 2019 that's here today. It is now my pleasure to welcome the 5 Browns as this evening's keynote speakers. You will note the 5 grand pianos in front of us. And I said that we are making history tonight, UVU, because I have never heard of a commencement ceremony that included 5 Steinways. We look forward to the 5 Browns communicating through both word and music some parts of their lives and the inspiration that they will share with us.
You literally have been playing the piano since before you can remember.
Before I can remember, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 5 Browns.
Who didn't think getting up at 4:30 in the morning was a good idea to play the piano?
Melody. It was our mother's goal at the beginning, but then it became our goal.
How do you practice? It's really hard because we're trying to juggle classes and tour.
We just want to remain who we are as people, as optimistic and as happy as we are now.
On the surface, I mean, we were the 60 Minutes family. In the back of my mind, I thought, man, if they only knew.
my privilege today to deliver this commencement address on behalf of the five of us. I'm Deandra, the second out of the five. Thank you, President Tuminez, and a huge thank you to UVU for what is truly one of the coolest and most unexpected honors of our lives. The five of us have a pretty deep history in Utah Valley. Many of our most formative childhood years were spent just north of here in Alpine, and two of us still live in Utah, myself included. As you may have guessed from the documentary clip, some of our history here has been really bright, and other parts were pretty dark. After we moved from Utah to New York City to study at the Juilliard School, the TV show 60 Minutes did a story that was largely responsible for jump-starting our career as the Five Browns. The story was titled The American Dream, but for my sisters and me, who had suffered years of sexual abuse from our father, we knew there was so much more to the story than this idealistic narrative being presented to the world. We weren't ready at that point to confront the darkest parts of our past, but all the same, this American dream narrative felt somehow incorrect or misplaced. Underneath the 1950s sitcom vibe we've been told we give off, there was real trauma and pain and human hardship. The abusive part of our story has since been told in the media and by the filmmaker who directed the documentary. But the five of us haven't really spoken much in public about the tears, setbacks, and near crippling self-doubt we experienced in our careers as musicians too. Granted, when people have found success in their fields, when they get up and talk about how difficult their journey has been, I'm reminded of the words of the great philosopher Kanye West. Fur pillows are hard to actually sleep on. Let's ponder that for a second. So heartbreaking. So I'll spare you that and fast forward through stories of people telling us we'd never be good enough to get into Juilliard, through stories of teachers condescendingly suggesting my brothers consider careers in baseball instead of music, or possibly like something out of the show Mad Men, faculty members asking my sister Desiree and me whether this really was a Juilliard audition or the Miss America pageant. I'll skip over stories about moments spent crying in the bathroom stalls after humiliating performances, or stories about how a large part of the classical music establishment initially considered our group a gimmicky circus act, undeserving of the success we've had. Instead, I'll jump right to the moment when our whole careers seemed to be unraveling all at once. A real make or break moment. On this day in late 2008, we were on a tour somewhere in the Midwest, having entered our career a bit naively and in an attempt to wrestle back some control from managers taking advantage of that fact, we began considering a separation from our tour managers. Before we could actually plan for that, though, we woke up one morning to discover our managers had already checked out of the hotel, leaving us alone with a heavy stack of concert contracts we had never learned how to make sense of, a long checklist of managerial work we didn't know how to do, and the keys to a rental van. This was less than a year into the fallout we had already experienced from privately disclosing our abuse for the first time. It was also near the beginning of the Great Recession, which practically decimated our concert schedule, as venues could no longer afford the cost of getting 5 pianos and 5 pianists all over the world. This perfect storm of events forced us to ask ourselves if this was where the Phi Browns was destined to fall apart. After trying to squelch that intense fear of unknown, we finally picked up the mess of papers we were left with and sort of said to ourselves, I don't know, maybe we can do this. We read and reread the stack of contracts until the legal language almost started to make sense. And we began checking off the managerial list, learning how to do each task as we went. In the end, we taught ourselves how to make music videos and code websites and become fluent in all sorts of computer programs, because that's what they prepare you for in music school, right? We figured out how to create albums, how to negotiate with record labels, and secure funding for projects. And my sister Desiree and I even started our own foundation that advocates to state and federal legislators on behalf of survivors of childhood sexual abuse. I never expected to find myself at the Utah Capitol, much less the US Capitol, working to change current laws that limit victims' avenues for obtaining justice. But this instance on tour in 2008 was likely intended as a power move to prove our dependence. In the end, it only proved the opposite. It proved we were not about to give up and could thrive even within the most discouraging chaos. We began to trust ourselves, our vision, and the sheer power of our will. And when things got impossibly difficult and the world found out about the most painful trauma of our childhood, we did what we've learned to do after every bad performance or debilitating setback. We found comfort in our relationships with each other and solace in getting back on the piano bench and pouring our souls back into the music. We did what we knew how to do. I think each of you here today, every UVU graduate, knows a little something about this business of messy, labored success and rising up after setbacks. You wouldn't be here today if you didn't. You may not come from Lori Loughlin's Silver Spoon family of Instagram influencers, but with the education you've gained here at UVU, you can build a real life that is meaningful and potent. You can make your own space and find a path that's individual to you, even when it seems impossible or when others tell you there's no room for you. Coming from a group that's made a career of playing on 5 pianos, I mean, seriously, I can tell you, sometimes you really can make room where it doesn't exist. The 5 of us, and most of you, represent the outer borders of the millennial generation, respectively. The ability to explain Wi-Fi and Snapchat to our grandparents is somehow in our DNA. This millennial spirit is the same energy that pushes all of us to try things we've never done, to rally at protests for issues that are important to us, and to continue learning outside of school. It inspires us to build new businesses and bring our parents' and grandparents' trades into the rapidly changing modern world. That said, it's easy to forget that only 1 in 3 Americans will reach the goal you have all reached today. What an accomplishment. You should be proud. With this college degree, yes, you are better positioned to build a great life for yourself, but you are also far better equipped to stand up and use what you've learned to help others, to help eliminate the sorrow, poverty, miseducation, and injustice you see in the world around you. No one can thrive in this crazy world without a lot of help along the way. We are all proof of that. If you allow it, the help you receive from the heroes in your life can eventually become the help you give in an endless web of human kindness that stretches out in every direction. This is not hyperbole. One dedicated person really can change lives, minds, and destinies. 6,000 dedicated UVU graduates can change the world. Today marks exactly 15 years to the day since our very first concert as the Five Browns. And we've come to realize that 60 Minutes was somehow right after all. Our story has been the American dream, but not for the reasons everyone assumed 15 years ago. Not because we're perfectly talented or perfectly rich or perfectly happy, but because we choose to survive every day and refuse to be defined by our setbacks, our trauma, and our fear. You are each living a version of this scrappy American dream, this new millennial American dream that sheds all templates for a successful life. The world will no doubt batter and bloody you. It will try to sell you its knockoff version of this dream and stack its limitations on you. But no one has the power to keep you from living the beautiful and impactful life that is yours. Like the gritty Wolverines we all are now, including the five of us, you have proven this strength of will and can now stand confidently and say, I am a UVU graduate, and I can find my own path to happiness and success. I can determine what my own legacy will be, and quite possibly, I may not be setting my alarm tomorrow morning. Thank you. On behalf of the five of us, congratulations to all of you on this massive accomplishment, and thank you for allowing us to share it with you. And best of luck to you as you get out there and you show Utah and the world how fierce green can be. We'd like to leave you with a performance tonight of a piece of music that we feel almost perfectly reflects our personal story. It is in 3 distinct sections, beginning peacefully with an almost naive beauty before it's hostily overtaken by conflict, struggle, and pain. But at the very apex of this devastation, the piece suddenly breaks off, and a single beautiful melody line begins to rise from the ashes. Soon it's joined by a second line, and a third, and a fourth, until finally, all five of us join our voices in full unison, becoming one, and combining with each of your transcendent stories in the most triumphant anthem of victory and love. This, my friends, is the Firebird by Igor Stravinsky, arranged for us by Provost's own Jeffrey Shumway.
Thank you, Desiree, Deandra, Gregory, Melody, and Ryan, for inspiring us through your words and music today. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your art. Thank you for being with us and being Wolverines. We are so grateful for your generosity of spirit and willingness to share openly both your triumphs and your heartaches. You are exemplary, and we are proud we can now claim you as Wolverines. Thank you. John Gattmeyer, President of the UVU Alumni Association Board and a UVU trustee, now joins us with a reminder that as each of our students leave this campus, they remain a part of Utah Valley University and are always welcome here. You never get rid of UVU. May I please welcome John Gattmeyer.
Wow, I'm not sure how I can follow that up and make this even any better tonight. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be a part of this. As President Tuminez said, my name is John Gattmeyer, and I am the president of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association. Today, I not only have the privilege and pleasure of congratulating you on your graduation from this great institution, I also have the incredible opportunity of welcoming each and every one of you into the Utah Valley University Alumni Association. So, to make it formal, congratulations to each and every one of you, and welcome to a group of alumni that is growing by the thousands each and every year. Graduation from UVU represents a huge achievement for all of you, and I wish you all the happiness today and in the coming days, weeks, months, and years as you reap the benefits of all of your hard work. If I may, much like President Tuminez, I'd also like to take the opportunity to congratulate your families, friends, as well as UVU's brilliant faculty and staff. Their efforts and support have helped you bring you to this great moment. Would all of the graduates please again join me in expressing gratitude to all of those who have helped you along your journey here at UVU. We, each and every one of us, are authors of our own stories, a book that you are writing daily. For some of you, your book is only a few chapters long. For others, like myself, we're a bit further in. Today represents the closing of a particularly special chapter in that book. I'm sure that you would all agree that this has been a very exciting chapter, and one that you might shed a few tears in finishing. Yet regardless of where you are in life and the number of chapters in your story, the simple fact that each of you are here today says that your story is one worth reading. The Greek philosopher, and I'm going to say this name wrong, Epictetus, said that if your choices are beautiful, so too will you be. It's simple and it's true. You are what your choices make you, nothing more and nothing less. The choices that you make become the substance of your story, and with every choice, you position yourself for the next great, beautiful chapter. Every day will present you with plenty of opportunities to choose between beauty or ugliness, kindness or selfishness, mercy or vengeance, serenity or anger. There will be little choices: what you eat, how you talk to people, whether you pick up the television remote or a book, what you think about. And there will be bigger choices too: whether you stand up for what's right, whether you reach down to help someone who needs it, what kind of work you do, what standards you hold yourself to. It's often in life easier to make the ugly, selfish, vengeful, or angry choice, to choose the easy path, to give in to your temper, or to keep doing things the way you've always done them. But beautiful choices, like acts of service, community involvement, or an education in UVU, by the way, the greatest institution in the world. I say that as a proud Wolverine myself, are rarely as effortless as they seem. Much like physical fitness, there is a regime behind them. It takes commitment, it takes discipline, it takes sacrifice. But when you see the results of beautiful choices, it can take your breath away. As I stand here today in front of you, I am amazed as I see all of you dressed in your caps and gowns. I am witnessing the results of some incredibly beautiful choices. Each of you has an amazing story that you have written with every one of those choices. Martin Luther King Jr. said these words on April 3rd, 1968, just hours before he would suddenly and fatally meet an assassin's bullet in Memphis outside of his room at the Lorraine Motel. He said, "Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter to me now, because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would love to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will." And he's allowed me to go to the top of the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. There is no doubt that there will be difficult moments ahead as you continue to write your stories. But the mountaintop inspiration that you need to make beautiful choices will be there to guiding you forward with confidence, helping you to choose what is best. May you strive to be your best selves, empowered, grateful, and selfless. May you choose to make the next chapter in your story the most exciting chapter thus far as you take steps towards your promised land. As you leave here today, I urge you to go and make your story as beautiful as you can. And I promise that I cannot wait to read each and every one of them. Now, as Alumni Association President, it's my privilege each year to administer the alumni oath to all graduates. Would you please all stand? I'd also like to invite our honorary recipients as well to please stand. Whereas, as the duly appointed president of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association, I charge you, the graduating class of 2019, to uphold the values celebrated in the mission of this institution from which you have received your higher education. Therefore, I charge you to go forth from this ceremony as people of integrity, as lifelong learners and leaders, and as stewards of our globally interdependent community. Having prepared you to accept these responsibilities, I invite you to signify your willingness to uphold these values by each announcing, "I will," to our assembly in response to the following question. Graduates, will you accept these responsibilities? All right, I'm going to ask that again. I need a louder "I will." Graduates, will you accept these responsibilities? Therefore, this second day of May 2019, I invoke my authority as president of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association and officially declare that you are alumni of Utah Valley University and will join with those who have preceded you. Together with more than 5,900 graduates, you will always be proud Wolverines. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you, class of 2019. Now it is time for the main and highest purpose of tonight's proceedings, the presentation of student candidates for degrees, first for master's degree graduates, then for undergraduates. Jeffrey E. Olson, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, will now join me and present the candidates for graduation. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Olson for his service to Utah Valley University. He is retiring on June 30, and this will be his final commencement. Dr. Olson, we are so grateful for your service.
I invite the candidates for Master of Accountancy, Master of Business Administration, Master of Computer Science, Master of Education, Master of Public Service, Master of Science in Cybersecurity, Master of Science in Nursing, and Master of Social Work degrees to please rise. Candidates, please remain standing as you are joined by the undergraduate candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Social Work. Would you please rise? Candidates for Associate in Applied Science, Associate in Arts, Associate in Pre-Engineering, Associate in Science, Associate in Science in Business, and Associate in Science in Nursing, would you please rise? Would all other candidates for degrees, diplomas, certificates of proficiency, and certificates of completion please stand? President Tuminez, on behalf of the faculty, I present the candidates for master, bachelor, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates. These candidates have completed all requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and the faculty has approved their candidacy pursuant to the final completion of all of their requirements. President, I now recommend that the appropriate master, bachelor, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates be awarded to them.
Thank you, Dr. Olson. Graduates, please stay standing. Candidates, you have fulfilled all requirements for the appropriate master's, bachelor's, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and have been recommended by the faculty for graduation. By virtue of the authority vested in me as president of Utah Valley University, by the people of Utah, through the representatives in the legislature and on the Utah State Board of Regents, and on the recommendation of the faculty of Utah Valley University and its Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the appropriate degree, diploma, or certificate, which entitles you to all rights, privileges, and honors thereto pertaining. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left side of your mortar board to indicate your graduation from Utah Valley University. My 9-year-old son asked earlier if you get to throw your caps in the air. You could do that if you really want to. Class of 2019, congratulations. Please be seated. Our thanks to all those who arranged this commencement, to the Utah Valley University Wind Symphony conducted by Thomas Keck, and to the Payson High School Pipe Band for the pre-processional celebration. Thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight for your participation in this memorable event. I would like to close with some personal remarks, and excuse me while I get my clicker. To the UVU class of 2019, bravo, mazel tov, felicitaciones, congratulations, pozdravляю. What an amazing night this is to celebrate all of you. Let there be a next slide. I love our UVU mascot, the Wolverine, and may I please hear you growl for just a second. Ah! I am thrilled and proud to be in a crowd of Wolverines tonight. According to Wikipedia, the Wolverine is a stocky and muscular carnivore resembling a small bear. A solitary animal, it has a reputation for ferocity and strength out of proportion to its size, with a documented ability to kill prey many times larger than itself. Because you're a Wolverine, come on. Because you are a Wolverine, you can celebrate your strengths and triumphs while remembering the village that got you here tonight. Our wild Wolverine might be solitary, but the UVU Wolverine is less so. Look to your left, look to your right, look behind you and in front of you. This is a moment for you to think of your families, friends, professors, UVU staff, classmates, donors, UVX drivers, IHOP waitresses, Wendy's servers, and so many others who in the past months and years have helped you succeed in your learning and in your lives. You have all worked very hard, but remember that success is never a solitary effort. Think about the team that helped to get you here tonight. Be grateful and remember always your connectedness to other people. We learn further that Wolverines generally eat mice, rats, and other small mammals, birds, and eggs during the summer months. During the bitter winter, however, when snow covers the ground, the Wolverine tends to hunt larger animals such as reindeer, sheep, and moose. Wolverines can walk up to 15 miles each day looking for food. The Wolverine uses its large teeth and powerful jaws to crush large bones and eat meat that has been frozen in the unforgiving Arctic winter. The Wolverine also has long, sharp, powerful claws that it uses to catch its prey and to defend itself from predators. Like the skunk, the Wolverine has a strong-smelling fluid called musk, which it uses to warn others to stay away. Wolverines also have a thick coat of brown fur to protect them from freezing temperatures and large feet to help them move across the soft snow. Because you are Wolverines, you have gained new learning, habits, skills, and competencies here at UVU. Because you have learned to dialogue and work across differences. Because you have taken on projects and completed them. Because you have been cared for and mentored by professors and friends. And because you have cared for others yourself. Because you have pushed yourself time and time again and gained more confidence and resilience. You are now ready to venture forth and work further on your hopes and dreams. You will have to work very hard to accomplish great things. And while you are accomplishing great things, remember integrity and compassion. Be honest, be ambitious, but do not prey on those who are ignorant, needy, weak, or desperate. Remember that as a wolverine, you have the metaphorical equivalents of large teeth, powerful jaws, sharp claws, strong-smelling musk, though I would really be careful with anything that implies body odor, a coat of fur, and large feet to help you get on your way. Use your gifts, talents, and resources to help yourself and to help others. The quest for success becomes meaningful only when we understand that it has to be about something larger than ourselves, when it is about something that outlasts this one life we have to live. In my life, I have clarified the meaning of success through Dr. Martin Luther King's hermeneutics of the story of the Good Samaritan. A man was on his way to the big city when thieves attacked him, robbed him, and beat him to a pulp. A priest walked by, saw the man, but was too busy to stop. A Levite walked by and did the same thing. Finally, a Samaritan, theoretically an enemy to the victim, got off his horse, delivered first aid, took the man to an inn, paid the innkeeper, and promised to come back to pay any other fees that might be incurred in the care of the wounded man. Dr. King said, the first question which the priest and the Levite asked was, if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? But the Good Samaritan reversed the question. If I do not stop to help this man, what will happen to him? I submit to you that if you constantly ask the question that the Good Samaritan posed, your success will be truly lasting, satisfying, and meaningful. Wolverines are an endangered species in Canada. According to a couple of websites, trapping and hunting led to their first decline. From 1840 to 1925, they were wiped out in over half of the North American territory. With the encroachment of human civilization, their natural habitat began to deteriorate. Extensive logging and all the man-made roads have cut into their habitat and cut them off from an extensive portion of their home range. In the United States, as of 2013, only about 300 wolverines remained. These animals were largely wiped out at the beginning of the 20th century due to wide-ranging and aggressive trapping and poisoning policies. Because you are a wolverine, you will face difficulty, darkness, and grief. Things will not always go your way. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes you will feel lost and alone. At these moments, be true to the best of your nature. Choose hope and show true grit. Get up when you fall. Unlike wolverines in nature, who tend to be more solitary than gregarious, you, UVU wolverines, must adapt a little better in tough times. Find, build, and strengthen your support system. Give help and don't hesitate to ask for help. Learn to let go the things that you cannot control. As the poet Mary Oliver said, to live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. My beloved Wolverines, thank you for who you are. You are precious and beautiful. You are each of immeasurable worth. You're choosing to come to UVU. You're persisting at UVU, and you're graduating today from UVU is a truly happy occasion. You have been celebrated today and blessed with so many words of wisdom and encouragement from an array of brilliant yet humble speakers and performers. I am so grateful to be your president. I am extremely proud of you and this university. Remember this moment. Remember this feeling of Wolverine pride. Remember you are strong. Godspeed in the next part of your journey. Thank you and congratulations, and throw all those hats in the air. Thank you. All right. I am sorry. What do I do now? Okay. May I ask everybody to rise? Is this what we do? I want to make sure somebody tells me this is the right thing. We are all going to march out. Is that right? Where is Cam Martin?
Thank you and good night.
Oh. It's very easy. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2019, thank you and good night.
Please remain seated as our platform guests begin the recessional. We invite our graduates to join the recessional now.
Thank you.